What's up, guys? Welcome to the Skeleton Closet, where we talk celebrity news and hot topics. Today, we are getting into the drama that unfolded on TheView today. So, let's get into the video.
I'm gonna just run down my shout outs. The dun.
All right, so first up, we have to talk about SunnyHostin going in on Piers Morgan this morning. She was absolutely fed up with Piers Morgan storming off set this morning of Good Morning Britain after one of his co-hosts basically went in on him, saying that just because Meghan Markle dissed you, ghosted you, and didn't want anything to do with you after she met Harry doesn't mean or gives you the right to have to attack her. And you know what? I completely agree with that. It seems like he's a bit jealous and his ego is a bit bruised. Now, I completely agree with Alex, the co-host, and everything that he said. You don't have to slam this girl just because she dissed you. Get over it, man. And SunnyHostin said pretty much the same thing on TheView today, saying your ego is bruised and you need to get over it. Take a look at this.
Why do you think Piers is so fired up?
Well, one thing I do want to say is, watching him walk off like that, isn't it interesting that Piers Morgan can walk away from a slightly uncomfortable situation, but Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan cannot walk away from more than a slightly uncomfortable situation, but a situation that put her mental health and her life at risk, and really the life of their child, because he didn't receive protection from the royal family. I thought that was quite interesting of Piers. But the other thing is, I don't think there's any perfect time to tell your truth. And so those that are criticizing Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan for somehow telling their truth at an inopportune time, I don't really actually understand that. And the reason, Whoopi, that I believe that Piers is all up in a bunch, he explained it himself. I think we have a clip of it.
2 hours in the pub, she had a couple of dirty martinis and a couple of pints. We got on brilliantly. And then I put her in a cab, and it turned out to be a cab that took her to a party where she met Prince Harry. And then the next night, they had a solo dinner together, and that was the last I ever heard from Meghan Markle. And I have never heard from her again.
Yeah. Okay.
So I suppose that his obsession with her is based on his own fragility, isn't it?
Maybe. Hey, Meghan.
Now, this is why SunnyHostin is one of my favorite co-hosts of TheView, because she lets it be very clear where she stands on issues. She doesn't half-step and she doesn't tiptoe around the issue. And she's funny. She's very funny. Her taking that sip from her coffee mug deserves an Emmy. I'm just gonna leave it at that. If they haven't already made clear that they deserve an Emmy this year, this is one of those moments. But not only that, we have to get into Meghan McCain doing what Meghan McCain does so perfectly, and that is causing outrage among the rest of the women. Next segment that they wanted to talk about was Dr. Seuss pulling their books off of platforms like eBay and other platforms that sell the books that have racist slurs or racist undertones in them. This was something that was done by the business of Dr. Seuss and his family. This was not something that was outraged by the left or the right or any social movement. This was done strictly by this private company. Now, the co-hosts were discussing them pulling these things off of the shelves and off of these websites. And Pepe Le Pew was brought up by Joy. Now, she brought this up because Fox News and all of these conservative places have been discussing this nonstop. Besides speaking about the COVID relief bill that is about to be passed and signed by Joe Biden, and other things that have been happening, like the hearings of the Capitol riots, but also the trial of Derek Chauvin, the man that killed George Floyd. Fox News and other conservative outlets have not been covering these things, and Joy made note of that on the show today, basically saying that this is not about cancel culture. This is basically a smokescreen from the right, so that everybody is distracted that listens or watches their networks. And she mentions that not one Republican senator voted for the COVID relief bill, and Meghan Nutmeg, Princess of Arizona, butted in, hijacked the segment, cut her off, and said that the reason why Republicans didn't vote for the bill is because it's pork. Now, that's what happens in large legislation. This is a $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill. This is one of the biggest relief packages that has been passed by the Senate in decades, or ever, if I am correct. Now, granted, she did say that this is a left-wing fever dream. Most of the time when the Senate is in control of a particular party, the party has a leg up on the legislation that is passed because they are in control. That is what happens. But this is one of the first times where not one person from the minority party didn't vote for a package that has passed. Even though that may be true, I haven't read all of the bill. I don't know what all is in it. I know that majority of it is for state and local governments to receive funding. It also gives families a lot of money, $1,400 checks to individuals, but also if you have children, those children get $1,400 as well. There's extensions on unemployment benefits, and there's funding for vaccines and testing. I'm not sure what else is going on in this COVID relief bill, but she says that only 9% of it is for the COVID relief. So I'm not sure what else is in it, but I can say that the things that have been mentioned for COVID relief are desperately needed. Whether or not you believe or feel like it's pork and it doesn't belong in the bill, most of it, or the things that are in the bill, is desperately needed. 60% of Americans feel like they need relief during this COVID pandemic, and 60% is the entire United States. That is clear that it's Democrats and Republicans that feel like they need relief during this time. So whether or not you feel like pork is in this or not, you still need to help your constituents. Now, Meghan and Joy have a heated exchange about this, and Meghan makes it clear that she is over the show today. She has a temper tantrum like she always does because she is the princess of Arizona and she has to have her way. She says she's over today, she's over today, she's over today. So take a look at this and we'll discuss the exchange between the two ladies.
But a lot of this pearl clutching, as they call it, is coming from Fox and right-wing media, and it's a distraction, as Sunny said, from the fact that not a single Republican in the Senate voted for the COVID relief package, which is popular with 60% of Americans. That same party that voted 100% in lockstep to give tax breaks to rich people. So they don't want you to notice this because it's not popular in this country to vote against COVID relief from putting food on the tables of Americans who are suffering. That's what they're doing right now. That is the distraction. Let's be clear.
Never been a hot topic on the show. It's because 9% of the bill is actually going to COVID relief. Out of all that, it's completely filled with pork, and it's basically a left-wing fever dream of things that are pushed into this bill along with it. That was conservatives' problem with it, and now that we have
so that's a 60% of the Americans.
No, I think that we should have that relief bill only going to COVID relief, not for anything else. Only paychecks to average Americans. 9% of that entire bill is going to Americans. That's the problem conservatives with it. It's not because we hate poor people and we don't want people to have help during the worst economic crisis of my generation. And I think that narrative and framing of it is not only wildly insulting, but it's actually inaccurate. Over it today.
By the way,
I love George
Washington.
What's your
Republicans
over it today?
fans of free
Over it today.
enterprise.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a break right now because it isn't working as well as we like. We'll be back.
As you can see, Joy and Meghan get into it. It was clearly not Meghan's time to speak. It was supposed to go to Sarah next, and Meghan does what she does best by hijacking the segment. And if you pay close attention, Sarah is clearly over it because she's making facial expressions. Sunny looks very confused and puzzled by what Meghan is doing. I'm not quite sure if Meghan is even telling the truth. I have to do my research to determine whether or not only 9% is for COVID relief, but that doesn't really matter for this conversation. What I want to talk about is the drama that just unfolded. Did Joy just insinuate that Meghan is a bitch? Because at the end of that, she was like, down girl, down girl. I took that as she was calling her a dog. So, yeah, that's kind of interesting and very funny. And that just shows how fed up Joy is with Meghan McCain, but also Meghan McCain being fed up with everybody else as well. I think it'll be pretty interesting to see how the relationships continue to unfold. I feel like everybody is a little testy and everybody is very, very, very on edge. Joy definitely insinuated some things about Meghan today, and I wonder how she's going to feel about that. I think that says a lot about their relationship by Joy saying, down, down, girl. That was definitely a little shade. Some tea for the View watchers so y'all can know how their relationship is doing. Because I don't just say down, down, girl or down, down, boy to one of my friends. If I wanted to just call them the B word, I would just call them the B word. But they're on national television and it's clear that she can't say that on national television. That was definitely a very cute way for Joy to tell Meghan to be quiet, calm down, sizzle, lower the temperature. You're so over it for what? Because people are calling the conservatives out on their BS. You're mad because people are fed up with the smoke screen that the people on the right continuously throw up. Are you mad because we as Americans are over Republicans holding up needed relief for the desperate Americans in this country? What are you so upset about? Even though you feel like only 9% of the bill is going to COVID relief, that 9% is desperately needed, okay? So Republicans need to get in line and just get over it and let people get the help that they need. So let me know down in the comments below what you think about today's episode. I definitely think Joy was calling her a B-I-T-C-H, bitch. And whether or not Joy and Meghan will make up, do you think they're actually fighting or this is just them being cute with one another? Do you think Meghan is actually offended by her calling her a bitch today on The View? Let me know down in the comments section below. But also let me know what you think about Piers Morgan storming off the set of Good Morning Britain and quitting the show. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button so that I can know how you guys felt about today's video. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.